much as he sounds disinterested, dear listener, I am fucking overjoyed with this issue.
No, I am just... it's been a day. Alright. Hello, and welcome to How Marvelous.
I am Max.
I am Mikki.
And I am JR?
Are you?
Man, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
You look like him, sort of.
Oh my god, has he been replaced with a pupil-less android?
I don't know.
No, I have irises.
Ah!
You didn't need to show me.
It's that attention to detail that will allow us to truly take over this time. Anyway, yeah, this time we are talking about What If Volume 1, Number 5. What if Captain America hadn't vanished during World War II? And let me tell you, hilarity ensues.
Oh, seriously, as much as that's the dumbest, most simple premise, I feel like finally, we are getting into the meat of what if was, and the spirit and
right.
the overall oeuvre of it. I love this issue. It's not quite there yet, but you're just like, oh my god, I'm finally reading a what if comic.
You can see.
Well, yeah, because this is very simple thing, changes, and then like you get a radically different outcome.
Right.
Yeah. What if should be cascading stories. It should be from this one thing, and then instead of like, and then they broke up, and that's the end of our exciting tale.
Well, and it's much more interesting
exciting
when it's several different kinds of outcome, right? Like that's what this does. Is it's a story built of vignettes instead of all one continuous like time span, which is what the first 3 issues were doing. 4 had its own fucking problems, but this is truly like, and then this, and then the career was good, but it's okay. Now we're going to show you the more interesting part of the story. Like, they actually like block off a whole section of time, and they do, you know, writer's rule number 1, which is this the most important? Is this the most interesting thing you could be telling me right now? If not, why aren't you showing me that? And they do a much better job of being like, okay, so we're going to cherry pick this day and this mission and the fallout from that mission and like that. It's really, it's better. It's not perfect yet, but it's better.
There's a lot less faffing about.
Yes.
And that is, after the last couple issues, that is a breath of fresh air. But yeah, so the version you're used to, you know, like Bucky dies, or does he? And then Cap goes into the water and is frozen until he's found by Namor. Meh. Yeah. But in this version, that doesn't happen. They take down the drone plane that Baron Zemo was sending up, and I love what happens here, which is that Baron Zemo's just like, oh shit, and runs, and he gets back to the Red Skull, and the Red Skull's like, well, you done fucked up, and Baron Zemo's like, well, yeah, but the next time, I think, and Red Skull's like, no, and he shoots him with like this dart that he then explains like, oh, he's not dead, he's just gonna sleep for a really long time, which okay.
I mean, that's
but
still dead eventually. Not that we've really, covered Baron Zemo's dietary concerns, but, how does he eat? I don't want to know. But...
It has to be strained through the fabric of the...
Oh, how is that actually probably the worst way? Oh, God.
Oh, no. No, there's worse ways.
No, actually, I really think that, never mind. So, Skull leaves his minions, and he's like, so, I gotta go back to Hitler and, tell him about all the fucked up bullshit. But Jet really only has one seat, so peace. And the Germans that he's with are like, that fucking dick, and start shooting at the plane as he's leaving, which is fantastic. Yeah. I wish there were more henchmen that would do this. It is such a true to life. If your boss, that this is so great. I wish MODOK's henchmen, the AIM henchmen, turned on MODOK like this more often. It would be I wish this was the trope. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I did forget to mention the creative team again.
Do it now.
This issue was written by Don Glut and Roy Thomas, penciled by George Tuska, inked by Russ Jones, colored by George Roussos, and lettered by Carol Lay and Warren Greenwood.
Wow. That's a lot of new names to me.
Yeah, I don't know most of those people.
Yeah.
So anyway, after Red Skull leaves, we essentially get, and World War II continued as it was, but this time Cap and Bucky also kicked ass in it.
Yeah. This time it was Cap that set Hitler on fire.
Yes. We get hey, remember the Howling Commandos and Nick Fury are a thing. Somebody says something to Fury about remember to keep an eye, take care of that eye of yours, which is just no, you're
the
not
way
a goddamn
people do.
prophet.
You don't ever tell people, hey, don't go running around with anything pointy. Take care of that eye. Take care of that eye.
Well, the way that he says it here, it could be misconstrued as a threat. If I told you tomorrow, hey man, I just want to make sure that you take care of that hand. You'd be a little weirded out about that.
I don't know. I guess it would depend on the context, Maybe,
I was going to say, I think of it more of, did either of you guys watch Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, so do you remember the episode where it's the employee introduction video, and it explains Phil Ken 7's origin?
Vaguely. I don't...
I'm going to go ahead and say no, I don't.
Okay, so the vast majority of the episode is nothing but fake lead-ins to him losing his eye. And then at the end, it's a really stupid thing. But that's what they reminded me of, is just hey, you're going to lose your eye. He's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're going to lose your eye!
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
We get another really shitty rendition of The Watcher. At least this one, I'm not sure if this is intentional on George Tuska's part, but at least he kind of has no pupils and shit. Other people generally draw him as just a guy right now, but This time around, George Tuska at least is like, he's vaguely alien. Yeah. Whatever.
He's built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. Like, I would not want to run into him in an alley. I'm
just super entertained by the way that they literally reverse the proportions at some point of just like tiny head, massive body. And they're like, how about massive head, tiny body? Ah.
Yeah. But so the Watcher helpfully informs us that 10 years pass and now they're fighting communists instead of ratsies. But you know, we only really get like a panel or two of that before it's just like, oh, by the way, at some point Nick Fury lost an eye and now he's dead.
Yeah, he died.
Nick Fury died in Korea. His plane went down over the Sea of Japan, Sea of Japan. Wherever that line from MASH is.
Yeah. Pretty much. The thing that I love about Fury's death here is not even the fact that there's not really a good explanation as to how Cap's still being around means that Fury has to die. It's the fact that his death is literally the result of his having lost an eye.
Right.
Because they specifically say that a grenade is tossed and lands to his left, and he couldn't fucking see it.
To which I have to say, how goddamn useless has Hydra been for decades that they didn't just be like, how about we approach him from that side?
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, we already know how useless Hydra is, but anyway. So we get it. We get a lot of this is montagey, and that's fine. Like,
it really is.
We don't have to see every moment of every day. You know,
because the montage here is essentially Cap is still Cap, and Bucky is becoming more like, he's becoming stronger, he's becoming faster, he's getting a little iffy on the sidekick thing. That might not happen until a little later, but also, you know, Cap's been around a while. He's still got the super soldier serum, but he's slowing down a bit. Not a lot, but
he's missing the odd step.
He gets approached by Lyndon Johnson and is like, hey, so, commies, taken care of. Thanks for that. We got a new guy, we got a new player. It's called Hydra. I'm putting together a specific task force or agency to deal with it. I want you to head it. I was going to have Fury do it, but then the motherfucker died. And he's like, Steve's like, I'm not ready for that. But Bucky has been kind of bitching at me about being second fiddle. He might be ready. So they put Bucky in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it's pretty cool to me, because as a reader, I thought the obvious move here was to just have Steve say yes, and that he would be the commander, or the S.H.I.E.L.D. director from the word go. And the fact that they switched it up, it makes the issue probably 3 or 4 pages longer than it really needs to be, because we do get there anyway. But, like, it was nice. I thought it was a good, like, he's not actually at this point ready to turn in the S.H.I.E.L.D. So it was pretty, I enjoyed it. It made sense, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, I'm not gonna argue. I like Bucky as leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., I feel like it's somewhat incongruous with Bucky as he exists at this point, because I feel like it was only around the time of Winter Soldier that they started getting into a lot more of the shit Bucky got up to during World War II. For a long time, he was just the kid sidekick. And then when Brewbreaker came along, it was just like, oh yeah, by the way, Bucky actually killed like a lot of people. and so it's...
There wasn't as much conditioning needed.
Well, yeah.
Bucky
but,
was
you know,
cold-blooded.
it was...
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of the forward scout, and so he was, you know, sneaking into places and taking people out all quiet, like, and, you know, so I find it interesting because at this point in time, you do still have kind of the old school Bucky vibe, and then it's just so that Bucky I have a hard time imagining becoming like the two-fisted leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. But
see, like that, if we're gonna call that a qualm, and like I can see your point, but at the same time, like, that's part of the reason why this issue works when it does, is because they were like, we don't have fucking time to explain all that. Like, let's just go. And that's why I'm okay with it.
It seems like an early... I'm not complaining. I'm saying it seems like an earlier acknowledgement of that reality.
Okay, sure.
Than I was aware of.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And so I like it.
Oh,
I
okay.
like that Bucky's just like, yeah, I'm fucking Bucky Barnes, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, you know.
Buck Barnes.
He's Buck. Don't fucking call him Bucky.
Huh?
He's Buck. Don't call him Bucky.
Buck.
Sorry, Buck.
I really like that. No point. If this was a modern comic, they would mention this, but I actually kind of like that they don't. That his only qualifications for being director of a national security agency is to have been sidekick to Captain America. It's just, what congressional hearing fucking said okay to that?
I mean, you know, it was the 60s, like...
Maybe he's just like one of the things we've got now, where they're just permanent acting.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But so in this world, Buck... Whatever. I can't...
I actually
can't
hate
take
it.
the name Buck seriously.
No, I can take it less I take it less seriously than Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're missing a syllable there, dude. And my
Part
name's
of it
Max.
is Buck Rogers. Part of it is like, my name is Buck and I love to fuck. I don't know.
Like,
whatever.
I really would have liked to see someone just, instead of that, just say, like, Director Buchanan. Director Buchanan.
Sure.
That
yeah.
would sound so weirdly respectable and realistic that it's like, I almost want Bucky to disappear into this while he's trying to be the director. Director Buchanan.
That's better. That's way better.
Or just call him Jim. His first name is James, for God's sake.
Sure.
But whatever. So they have a run-in with the Hulk. And...
Oh, and thank God it's properly written Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hulk smash! Yeah. But Rick is there, because of course he is. We can't have Hulk without fucking Rick at this point. So Buck grabs the shield and gets in and saves Rick. and Hulk is just like, well, friend Rick dead. Bye. And the
I like how Buck's just like, oh my god, that's Rick Jones. It's like, why the fuck would you know that?
I mean, other than being you are the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, that's the only
every
reason.
American.
Nobody else knows who fucking Rick Jones is.
Right?
He is.
Do you communicate with him on ham radio? Is he your ham buddy?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I had a ham buddy once, but it was more of a honey roasted situation.
Now I'm just imagining you watching movies with a ham. Like on the couch.
Come back, rum ham. Come back.
So after
To be clear, a ham buddy was not a buddy made out of ham. It was a buddy with whom our entire friendship was built upon ham.
Well, I for one am very thankful that you no it is better, because for a moment there I thought you were going to lean into like you guys ever read Preacher?
Yeah.
The meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they take Rick back to Steve's apartment to recuperate, and Buck shows up wearing the Captain America costume, and Steve's like, what the fuck are you doing? And Buck's like, admit it, old man, you're done. I'm benching you. And Steve takes a minute and is like, you're a bit of a piece of shit, but you're right. I don't like the way that... Well, basically, I don't like the way that you went about this, but you're right. And maybe it's the only way that I would have listened to you anyway. So, fine. I'll be director of S.H.I.E.L.D., you go be Captain America. Which it's like, there should be a little bit more vetting process. Just because they offer you the job once doesn't mean you get to take it now.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how directorships of national intelligence enforcement agencies work. You can just be like, hey man, you want to trade?
Yeah, sure.
Tradesies?
So basically, that's what happens. Oh, also, Rick Jones wakes up and is like, I'll be the new Bucky.
And I'll be the mommy. Anyway,
No one asked your opinion, Rick.
So, the upshot of all of this is Buck becomes Cap. Rick becomes Bucky.
No, hold on. That headline clearly says Captain America and Rick.
Yeah, I know. I was about to address that. He puts on the Bucky costume, but instead he's Ricky.
There's people walking by going, oh my god, it's Rick Jones!
I saw your music concert! No, I didn't. Nobody went to that.
Yeah, nobody cares about Rick Jones' music. But yeah, so they go and they have adventures. Hooray. Steve becomes director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and starts fighting Hydra. Buck takes up with Sharon Carter, which means that in this world they never got that awkward fucking kiss from Civil War.
Yep.
And so we
Your dead girlfriend was my aunt. I think we should make out. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna go back in time, and I'm gonna live with the aunt, and I'm sure this won't get at all fucking creepy around like the 80s to the modern day when it's just like, and this is Sharon.
Oh no! I tried to bone you once. What? Nothing?
They totally fucked. I'm sorry. Like, I have no doubt the kiss was weird, but they had sex. Like, they had to have.
So,
And,
Steve's,
yeah. Anyway,
Steve's been tracking
that's a
down...
Thanksgiving.
Steve's been tracking down Hydra. He's narrowed down the Supreme Hydras in this volcano base, because Hydra. And they're storming the island when they take a powder real quick after they make the beach and are like, by the way, we should probably involve Buck in this, because he'd really like it. Which really is the way that it reads. He's like, thanks for letting me know so that I could come in too. And Steve's like, yeah, I got you. Then Buck makes out with Sharon, and they break into the base together
As a family.
They put on Hydra costumes. The volcano's not really a volcano. This is actually where the issue starts breaking down for me. Because it's Hydra.
Right around...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, continue. Oh, I was just going to say, right around the time we discover that Hydra is a sausage party?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, they're all really excited because Supreme Hydra's just like, I made a new gun, and they're all like, wow. And then one guy's like, wait a minute, that Hydra agent has tits, and we don't go in for that. And so they're just like, welp. And so
didn't think that
the
through.
rest of them do what?
I said, didn't think that through. I mean, like, literally, if you're trying to infiltrate an organization, maybe you should be aware of if they literally don't allow certain, like, come on. It's like, okay, we're gonna sneak in. Sharon, do your best to be a man.
Well,
yeah.
But also, like, find
at
a
least
baggy
pad or something. Like, put on, like, the Marvel Universe has a lot of characters over the years who have, been women posing as men. I mean, like, Ronan originally and stuff like that. Like, we know the technology exists to, like, pad the upper body so that they look less like a woman in these situations. So, like, Shield couldn't figure something out there.
I'm saying it's even simpler. You just wander around taking out henchmen, like perimeter henchmen, until you find one that's bigger, and like you put the baggy one on her. Like, that's how is that a problem? Anyway, it devolves into a fracas, during which Steve jumps for the big gun, the big new revealed gun that I guess atomizes people. I don't know. And is shocked, literally, because it's booby-trapped, and all of them are captured. Cut to shortly later, Steve wakes up and the Supreme Hydra's screaming in his face about how I'm going to kill all you motherfuckers. I don't know. Literally, at this point, I have checked out. I hope that's coming through.
It's Baron Zemo.
It's Zemo. And somehow Zemo is so fucking fucked off right now. Like, he is gone. That even though in the setup for this issue, Baron Zemo has seen Steve's face. He knows what he looks like. He's so pissed and, like, fanatical at this point that he does not recognize Steve Rogers. But when he goes to pull the mask off Captain America, he's like, wait a minute, this isn't Captain America. This is fucking Bucky. Oh, shit, you're Steve. Like, it's so weird. Steve busts out of his bonds, because of course he does. He punches Zemo in the face. More hijinks ensue. There's some fake lava. Zemo goes in the fake lava.
And just like outright melts into a flat puddle.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Fight. The cavalry arrives, and oh no, Rick died. Not Rick. Sorry, Pavlovian. Or not Pavlovian.
Buck.
What's it called? The slip. Freudian slip. Because
Freudian.
God, I wish it were Rick.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about wanting to fuck him.
No. No. That's a different thing. I'm tired all of a sudden. So Buck died.
Well, he got messed up. They get him on the table, and he dies, and everybody's very sad. Sharon's like, "Oh no, I was gonna lock down that dick," and
I actually like
Rick
Sharon's reaction at the funeral because she's like, "Fuck you," to Steve.
Like, well, yeah, we'll get there in 1 second. Bucky's just like, I realize now this was always a mistake. I was never going to be as good as you. And they're all very sad. And Steve is basically Steve is cursing himself for not being able to express what he's feeling, which this is kind of a highlight of the issue for me, because this Cap has never been through the things that led to Steve Rogers being who he is in normal continuity.
Right.
Steve Rogers generally has an intuitive ability to say the right thing for any given situation. And I think the fact that he's always just kind of been Cap has led to a rich inner life that has humanized him immensely, and this Steve never had that.
Right.
So he's not able to say the right thing here, and as a result, like you said, Sharon is pissed at him, because Bucky died trying to live up to his example, and he tries to say something. He tries to say the right thing here. He's like, he was of a special breed, and she's like, no, fuck you. He didn't have to die. He didn't have to do any of this. You're the reason why. You're the reason I'm not going to have the life I wanted to have. And I really like what they did there.
Yeah. I really like Sharon. And I like what you're saying, too, in that because he didn't have the experiences that we know him to have in 616, this Steve Rogers isn't Captain America enough to say the right things at the right time. Right. Because he hasn't had... It's almost like he's lived too long, he lost some of it. Or... those are two different conflicting ideas, but...
Well, no, it's a different kind of loss, because, he's lived too long, but he's lost... He's seen the life that he had gradually go away, as opposed to modern Steve, or whatever, who wakes up to having lost everything.
Yes.
So it's like...
Right.
This one's more depressed Steve, and that one's more just like shock Steve. And shock Steve learns to get along and move on, and depressed Steve is like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, no, also, like, the thing, I guess the point that I was kind of trying to get to is Steve, especially around this time, goes through a bit of an identity crisis because he's never not been Captain America. You know, since he was a schmuck kid, basically, he's been Captain America, and that's it. He's wondering who Steve Rogers is and things like that. And so I think that caused him to turn inward somewhat. And that's why the Cap we know is much more in tune with things. This Cap, he's had time outside of the mask. He's had time to explore who Steve actually is without the crutch. Not necessarily crutch, but you know what I'm saying. Like, right. Without having to be Captain America all the goddamn time. And so he hasn't had to do the level of introspection that 616 Steve has had to do. And so that's why I think he's so crap at talking to people. But anyway, whatever the reason, he makes a mess of it. And so he visits a shield museum
where they've something got that espionage agencies always have.
Yeah,
you know, and I love that it's disguised as a supply company, like it's a museum supply company. Whatever. But they have the Captain America costume behind glass, and in slips Rick, who's just like, you know, hey, maybe I could be Captain America next. And Steve, for some reason, isn't just like, I feel like maybe we've learned that's not the best idea.
But he also
and instead
doesn't immediately go, okay, like, that's at least progress. That he's just like, okay, how about this? Let's table that for now.
Yeah.
And put it as a big maybe for the future. And Rick's like, all right, I'm willing to work for it, because I'm Rick Jones.
And then you get the wonderful stinger of the Watcher being like, wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. That is not like, my right to answer.
What a prick.
What are we doing? Prick? You can just tell me. Like, you're the one. It's not interfering. I'm not even there. Just tell me.
You literally just told us about 20 years of this universe we're not supposed to know anything about. And then you get to an arbitrary point and go, but piss off!
Yeah. What do you do? Why? Don't be like that.
Yeah.
My overall, I guess, is going to be, this is the structure. Like, it lost me at the fight because I didn't give a shit because it was too convoluted and blah, blah, blah. But, like, this is the structure that we should be doing. Like, this is the way. It's not all the way hammered out yet, but, like, the frame's up. And that's promising as hell.
Yeah, this issue gives me hope for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I just wish it wasn't then followed by the next issue, which is so fucking.
I can't wait for us to do the next issue, because, wonderfully stupid. Seriously, the whole time I can hear the characters in their Venture Brother proxies. So good, so good.
Yeah, but man, it's one of those things. It's really frustrating that they nail the format so completely, and then they turn right around and they're just like, what if stupid bullshit? And
what if stupid bullshit told poorly?
Yeah.
JR, did you have like an overall on this one?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of the early exemplar of how to do this. Not everything is quite hammered out, but they're started. It's kind of one of those, when you're watching a documentary about like a band or a director, and they take their first fumbling steps toward, being what they're going to be later. Like, and you're just kind of like, you're almost there. You almost got it. And so it's not quite there. It's kind of like Tarantino doing a bloody revenge flick, but leaving out pop culture and the word fuck. It's like, you're so close. You almost got it. But
and feet.
Well, no, I mean, that's always going to be there.
Oh,
that's his. Otherwise, what's he going to jerk off to?
Right.
But it's close, and you're just like, you nearly got it, guys. You nearly got it locked down, but just a couple things off here. So yeah, overall, like, as far as early issues go, A+. As far as like overall, what if? Like, yeah. So, I guess that would give it like a C. So yeah, join us next time when we will be discussing what if the Fantastic Four, had different superpowers. Huh?
Yeah.
In the meantime, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and email us at howmarvelouspodcast@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.